Good morning. Good morning. This is Vernon Brown with Happy Meal Diet, bringing you health, happiness, and everything in between. Today, we're going to be continuing the conversation on taking responsibility. Now, we talked yesterday about what does that mean, taking responsibility. What is the impact of it? What are some different reasons why? But every single day, we're bringing you 15 minutes of fun, happiness, and all that great joy, especially about a subject that is really tough to articulate. But we're going to break it down to small, bite-sized pieces because I tell my clients this every single time. No matter how big something is, the fastest way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. Now, I do want to kind of give you a heads up, a warning to preface you. Eat the meat and spit out the bone. If you don't like what I say, but you find that one piece, take it, run with it. I'm not a guru. I'm not trying to say that I know all. My way is the only way. I'm not that dense. But what I'm suggesting is just take a piece of it. Just chew on it for a second and see how it can implement just so many different changes that you want in your life that you can start being responsible for. And kind of teeing that up, we got to talk about if you're taking a responsibility, you really want to sort your life out. We need to really talk about what is your stuff versus what's not your stuff. All of my intuitive empaths out there, I'm just like myself, we know what we're talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, listen up. Whenever you're out there doing things, and I'm not saying that you're even trying to achieve on it with the intention that I'm talking about, but when you're a person that can pick up on other people's feelings or recognize like, hey, I wonder what that's like for me, it's a great, way to live your life, to forgive you, all kind of good karma if you believe in that. If you believe that it's going to, really bring value to your life, because we all know that one of the best things you can do is to give. You got to make sure that if you're giving, that it's also giving to you. And when you're taking responsibility for things, if you will give so much to people, but it will end up not giving so much to yourself. No, I am not a cynic, but what I'm saying that you've got to put yourself in a power place first before you can start giving to others. It was something that I have struggled with, and I'm not going to sit here and talk to you and to say that I don't have these things that I work with. As I said last week and every week I'll remind you of this, I do not wear a crown on my head. But what I have done is I've made enough mistakes in my life, and I've helped enough people in my life that is recognizing the patterns. So with that being said, what's your stuff versus what's not your stuff? Your stuff. First, excuse me, let's take it back. Let me expand more on when you're picking up on other people's emotions. When you're playing the game that you can predict the future, or another way that you could do it is when you start predicting you're not predicting, but you'll start intuiting different things that can happen. That's not your stuff. It's not. Just because you feel it doesn't mean that's you. You might be able to articulate it better than persons just because maybe you've seen something like this before, but that's not your stuff. It's just literally what I said. It's what you're picking up on. But when energy gets low, when you're trying to figure out what direction is going to lead you down a better destination, we can get confused between what we feel, what we sense, what we think, and what we know. Let me give you an example. Somebody was knocking on my door the other day. Never seen this guy ever, 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 right? And so I saw it and it was like, oh, wow. And I looked at him because I got a clear window on my door. And I looked at him. I said, man, this guy's got this air about him. And it's like, I can just see this kind of regal nature to him. That's the sense that I got. But the feeling that I got was, don't open the door all the way. And it's one of those things that you kind of have to tease those out and recognize, am I picking up on what they're capable of? Or am I picking up on, or am I trying to say that what they're capable of is what they're going to do? You've got to learn the difference, because that's not their stuff. I mean, your stuff, that is their stuff that you're picking up on. And you've got to sit back and really tease out what you feel. Sometimes when you are working on leveling up, you're working on taking responsibility, you're going to feel as though, or you can get the sense that people are kind of dumping on you, or people are kind of taking you away from what you want to focus on. Stand guard with your emotions. Stand guard the fact that when you're doing things like this, the universe, God, Yahweh, Muhammad, however you believe, I would just use the term creator because I don't want to lose people in, how I might believe. But however you believe, the creator is not there to tease you or taunt you, but sometimes life can do things to you to say, hey, do you really want it? And that's not to test you. That's to see how creative are you going to be? How much do you really want it? Are you there to stick it out? Because when you are wanting to take responsibility for your life, it's like breaking up with your best friend. When I say taking responsibility for your life, I mean you're losing and letting go of the things that don't serve you, those things that aren't bringing you closer to what you want. And we'll be talking more about that this week to figure out exactly what to go after. But right now, we're pulling it back and saying what's your stuff versus what's their stuff. But the universe, the creator, just life in general will almost seem as though it's playing a game with you. That is the trick of life. When you're breaking up with this best friend, it's not going to be easy, even if this best friend is not something that, is serving you, but it's what you have become comforted with. When you start recognizing that every day is Groundhog's Day, or taking it back to such a great James McAvoy movie, Wanted. Every day is exactly the same. Horrible voice, but you get what I'm saying. That was the big, kid song for that soundtrack. But when you start recognizing that, hey, things aren't the same, you get used to that, even when it's not a good relationship. Even when it's the boss that treats you poorly, even when it's that partner who's not showing you the love and respect that you want, even when it's that job that's not loving you the way you love it because you're putting in 50, 60, 70 hours and you're barely seeing any traction, you get used to it. And that's built into us. That's homeostasis. That's what lets us know that this is normal. This is my routine. And when you break away from that, and this isn't an up here thing. This is a here thing. That's a feeling. And for my intuitive empath, empathic people, my persons who are always curious about how other people are doing, seeing, and believing, that can be a huge interruption. And it can make you hold back. You can get the sense that you need to hold back because nothing's going to make you. You make a decision. And this is where we draw a line in the sand and say, what's really my stuff? What is really helping me out right here? How can I really take this and recognize I'm going to move forward in spite of what I feel? That's where the guts kicks in. That's when it becomes more cognitive. It's about moving forward, even in the face of fear, even in the face of uncertainty. When you start taking responsibility and own your own stuff, it is going to feel uncomfortable. I am so uncomfortable doing this right now. Not so much this week, just because it's over and over again, but I had to keep going at it. I had to keep doing this. I had to make sure that this was something that I wanted and I owned this stuff. And when you go after things with that sort of commitment, with that sort of just drive, life has no choice but to relent. But if you're carrying other people's stuff, what are they going to say? What might people think about me? I can't believe that I'm doing this. And it becomes some more of a weight that becomes their stuff and you will take it on. And I'm telling everybody, I'm challenging everybody because I very rarely tell people things. I just give people a different perspective. But what I'm offering you is this. What is the benefit of carrying people's stuff? Yes, I know some of it is unconscious. I completely get that. But now to become more conscious of, hey, is this really me? Is this really me? Because you can only have a blind spot one time in life. That is it. No more. Because once you recognize it's a blind spot, it becomes a choice. So whenever you're out there, you're leveling up, you're doing these great things, you're working to be more positive, you're working on being more be more responsible with your life. Take a step back. You got to push back sometimes, like literally. And this is just something that even I do if I'm with other people. And I encourage all my clients, I used to do this early on, whenever I would come away from a meeting or whatever, I would notice that I'm experiencing just kind of setbacks. I had to sit back and just kind of shake it off of me, just get this off. This isn't my energy. Why? Because I was taking some things on. Some people think it's your job to get dumped on, or think it's your job for you to take on their emotions. It's your job for you to say that they can do it and let go of your goals and focus on their responsibilities. You've got to be brave here, but it's got to be your stuff. It's not easy because some of these persons in your life you're going to care about, but you have got to love them, like my grandmother said, with a long handled spoon. Get out there, take responsibility for your stuff, not someone else's. This is their life. It's not your responsibility to clean that stuff up. I know you love them. I know you care about them. This could be your spouse. It was my mother. It was many different persons in this life. But you know what? I was so determined to go after it and get it that I had to recognize it, that wasn't my stuff. But I was the vessel that was carrying it. And it was your responsibility to it is your responsibility to find the best way that works for you. And don't forget, because we got to make sure we end this on some positive note. You're going to do this. There's no way you're not. You got support. You got the education. You got the awareness. And now we just need the bravery. And every single day, I'm going to be right here with you, bringing the bravery, bringing the energy, but also bringing you a different perspective that you might have overlooked. I've been doing this for the last 10 years and several thousand clients, and I'm not slowing down. And I want more people to get it. Take these 10 minutes and just sit back and then think about, what can I do? What is my responsibility versus what are other people's responsibilities? And speaking of, it's the holiday season, and we have a responsibility to you to share with you that you can get your free copy of Happy Holidays. It's the Happy Holiday Cookbook based with the Happy Meals. It's going to be. We also have a gluten-free version, and we have a gluten-free version, and we kind of have what is it? The allergy-free version. There we go. The allergy accommodating happy recipes, happy holidays, happy recipes that you're going to love. You can find that link in the comments down below. It's free. It's our gift to you. I'm going to see you all tomorrow. And we're going to do in part 3 of taking responsibility for your own shit. I'll see you tomorrow. Health, happiness, and everything in between.